All right. Let's go. Huh? Finally. We're going to have a game tonight. The beard is getting so long, I look like Santa Claus. It's getting ridiculous. All right. Let's blow this chat up. Bucks Rays. Right back at you, buddy. Appreciate that. Colin says Connor Brown is now game time decision. No Greer. At morning practice, Boquist was probably get his spot, right? Avs re-signed Brock Nelson 3 to 7.5. Okay. Oof. And Checkers would have come back 3-2 to complete the sweep over the Rockets. So they're in the finals now. Very cool. Very cool. Roaring says, I had trouble sleeping last night. I was excited. I'm ready, Nick. Yeah. Excited, nervous, all of the things. All of the things. Okay. Craig, game day. Guitar Co says, I'm still trying to process it. An entire year has passed. Boy, oh boy. Ain't that the truth? The year I've had is like 10 lifetimes. I can't. To say I can't process it is an understatement. That's for sure. IDK says, I'm not excited. Hungry says, the amount of pundits going Oilers in 5 is great. We play better when we get underestimated. David, how you doing? Yeah, exactly. We want the damn cup. Well, we have the cup. It's our cup, so they got to take it away from us. Damn it. Guy says, remember, one game at a time, we got this. Absolutely. One shift at a time against this team. That's all it takes is a couple of bad shifts, and Edmonton's got 4 goals in the back of the net. And they have to be freaking careful. So, with no Greer, you put Boquist in. All right. It's not the same, but close enough. Oh, he says, yeah, good to see our resident pessimist hasn't changed, right? Guitar, yeah, we're like 4 months away from next season. I know. It's wild, man. All the questions of who's going to come back and all of that. Hey, Molly, yeah, let's get ready to rumble. Exactly. Everybody make sure you bring your A game tonight. Oh, boy, I can't believe we made it back 3 times in a row. Kind of surreal, but the guys seem to be completely all business at this point. So we're good. Ryan says Edmonton is the favorite to dethrone the Panthers. I can understand. Why people would feel that way. Sure. Panthers played a lot of hockey. Drew, how you doing? David says, I got every Cats series right, and I have Cats in 6. I like it. Yeah, imagine saying that 10 years ago. No joke, right? IDK says, the Carolina series didn't expunge my worries about the Cats. It only heightened them. I mean, we beat them in 5. Are you worried about game 4 to 1 game? What would be the cause for concern out of there? Drew says, what are our chances, honestly? 70-30. I like our chances better than 50-50. We know what to do. We know how to do it. We've done it before. That's part of the battle. You've seen that we had the battle last year, still figuring out at the end of the series what it took, even after losing to Vegas and all of that. There's no guarantee, that whole revenge thing is motivating, but you still have to execute. CB says Alberta is a rat-free province. You know what happens when one is found around here. IDK, the constant turnovers. All right, I can understand that. Yeah, there were a few games with the turnovers that weren't fantastic. No doubt. I can certainly understand that. But we can put the puck in the back of the net when that happens too. Yeah, exactly, Molly. You have to believe, right? David says we will win back-to-back cups. I know y'all be freaking out when we lose a game or two, but we want the cup. CB. Yeah, I saw the tree video. Yep. Yes, exactly, Steven. They have to be much better clearing the zone. Much harder on the puck. No doubt. Yeah, even the game. Yeah, IDK. No, I get what you're saying. The turnovers, even the games we won. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, IDK. I know you'll be freaking out if we lose tonight. And Juices have to clean up the face-off. That's definite. That's a definite. Cats and Rats. That we should hammer Ekholm. As soon as you start treating one guy differently, because as soon as you start treating any one player differently than your normal game would dictate, the other team has an advantage. I wouldn't change anything based on anything they're doing. Just stay focused on what we do. I wouldn't want us going after hits just because of anything like that. Let's just play our game, play smart. I would not necessarily. I understand what they're saying, but I would disagree with taking that tactic. Good says, "An afternoon, Jaws. The media is saying what they're saying. I'm a bit disturbed by the lack of confidence from our own fans." I don't watch them, to be honest. I mean, I don't get them in my feed, so it's not like I'm purposefully ignoring. We have difference of opinions. We'll just put it that way. We don't see eye to eye, so to speak, on the team. I would say that. So, hearing that they're scared. Maybe it comes with the territory of having been a day one fan, but I kind of feel like we're the team to beat. We're still the team to beat. We're still the champs. Until somebody takes it away from us, we're the team to beat. Well, yeah, nice to see Mackey in the final press conference. Yeah, it's a shame he won't get on the ice a whole lot at all. Maybe he was a big part of our success this season for sure. Amanda, Braves fan, this has been a long week. Yes, absolutely has been a long week. Hey, Jobber. Johnny says we're having a Panthers watch party for my birthday on Friday. We at least need to win that game. Yeah. Let's just win them all. Oh. The longer it's gone since I did this series preview, the better I feel about Panthers in 6. I just feel like Bob is going to elevate. Dave says, unfortunate for the Oilers. They're a great team. Cats just a little better. I like it. IDK says, from what I know, both teams have sucked in the face-offs. Yeah, I don't know why our face-off percentage has been so terrible. That was a stat that we were improving upon. Lundell was getting better. But it just seems like we've been just losing a lot of draws. Still winning games. Yeah, Guitar Crow. That's a good point. Watching NHL coverage, no surprise, it's favoring Edmonton just like last year. McDavid deserves a cup. Yes. You know who else did? Roberto Luongo. It's a team sport. Perfect point. Perfect point. Chopper. Yeah, we got to capitalize on the PK. That I'll agree there. When the penalties come our way, we need to score goals. And we know we can't have the shorthanded breakaways. No. Oh, that's a killer. Hey, Ted, Panthers in 4, eh? I like it. Drew says, which team has improved more since last season? I think Maurice touched on it a little bit in this press conference yesterday. I think the Panthers can score more goals. I think Edmonton's defense is a little bit better. And that comes with structure and experience on Edmonton's part. But it's really difficult to compare last year versus this year, even inside of the series, because, regardless of what Maurice says, a lot of stuff does play into it with momentum and how a team is feeling. And, the way we got obliterated in game 4 probably doesn't happen in a game 2. You know what I mean? You get to game 4, one game starts to get away from you, and you might just kind of be like, we'll get it next time. So the way that the series went with us going up 3-0, honestly, I feel like game 7 is a better marker for how these two teams will end up playing against each other. David Smith, yeah, probably just cook and stay home. It's rainy. I'm a great cook. IDK says game 1 to 2 will dictate the rest of the series. Just split, man. Barbara says, Oilers ain't ready for our forecheck, I promise you. We just have to be smart about it. We can't have guys getting caught back. What we got here? Hey, thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. She says, this is for Ryan, all his hot takes this playoffs. He's been good luck. He's been a good luck charm. Panthers in 6. Ryan says, I won't say Edmonton sweep, but the Panthers sweep the Panthers, but in 6, they'll dethrone the champs. We'll see. David, yeah, no, that's where Bubba comes into mind, right? Absolutely. Hey, Mr. Vids. Cade, Owls. Yeah, Panthers PK 88, Oilers 66. Kachukin says, just got to hook McDavid on the breakaway. If he gets one, let Bob have a few seconds to prepare for the penalty shot. I wonder how Bob would feel about that. Like, I wonder if Bobrovsky would rather just take the breakaway or if he'd rather have the extra seconds. Because it gives McDavid time to think about what he's doing. You know what I mean? David says, we're so up and down with faceoffs. We lose 9 out of 10, then win 8 in a row. Yes. Owls, yeah, they're pushing Corey Perry. I know. Is what it is, right? Yeah, Barkov's by far our best on faceoffs. That's what Sturm was supposed to be for, but it didn't. It did not work out. It did not work out. Barkov's got the best out of everybody. Yeah, and Nosek would help too. Exactly, Chopper. Yeah, Sturm is a best a rental. Yeah. So John says hold on a second. Boy, the chat's going so fast, I can't keep up. Where the hell did the comment go? Jeez, the chat's going so fast. I was in the middle of reading something, and now it's just gone. Did you? Oh, you were asking. John was asking if they lose, if they're the version of the NHL version of the Bills. 4 times is a lot. 4 times is a lot, right? Colin says didn't we get one? Barkov had one a few years ago, right? Didn't he have a overtime penalty shot, I think, against the Islanders at some point? I seem to remember that he didn't make. Craig says the Leaf series was a decent preview to the Stanley Cup final, and I think Woll is more reliable than Skinner. We're fixing to find out. Yeah, Maurice talked about that. Talked about how at the beginning of the Toronto series, we just struggled with the difference between Tampa and their system and Toronto and their system, and we just weren't making our decisions quick enough. And says, well, obviously once we figured it out, things changed. So I would expect us to have things clamped down from the beginning here tonight. Junkie says, I'm going to be in Dallas for games 3 through 5. I'm scared I might break tradition, but I'm definitely going to bring my rat and rally towel with me, so support. And definitely going to be watching the stream. All right, brother. We got this. I feel good. Oh, wrestling? Wrestling? No, I don't promote it. I don't call it wrestling. Hey, Vanish, how you doing? Rooting for the Oilers tonight? That's cool. Trusting Skinner can get it done. Best of luck. Yeah, we are up against the ticked-off Oilers. Ain't no joke about that. Hey, thank you, Skyler. Thank you, bud. Much appreciated, buddy. Go Rats, Cats. Thanks for all the great content. I appreciate that, bud. I appreciate that. Hey, Jameson, how you doing, bud? Yeah, we are ready. It has been it's been a week, right? Our last game was Wednesday, right? Ryan says, once Panthers lose to the Oilers, I'll mention any Panther fans that work next season. You lost your title. Yeah, it was Barkov communist, right? Yeah. He missed it. I forget which game that was. Marvin says, dynasty for Fluffy after we win again, right? Hey, thank you, Kate. Thank you, bud. Thank you, Kate. Says, let's rock this joint. Go Panthers. I'm actually happy that we're starting out on the road. We play better on the road. I wouldn't want the home nerves of game one, honestly. I think I like the setup we've got with all that time off, being on the road. The travel give us a little bit. They couldn't get too comfortable and happy laying in their bed. You know what I mean? Ekblad 8 by 1 million. George had a small article on him today. Doesn't sound like they really he said everybody knows where he stands in terms of him wanting to stay. But obviously everything begins with what happens with Bennett first. David Smith, how do we get here? I got a bad desire. Oh, yeah, that's right. The 80s had their share of music too, right? Mr. and Mrs. Partners, Panthers partnership with Blue Chew when? Don't know, right? Hungy said Ekblad did make it sound like he's more than willing to stay. Hopefully that will be with a pay cut. We kind of need to. We kind of need to find a way to sign Marchand too, but we all know that. Drew says something tells me Marchand is going to show up strong in this series. Yeah, because he certainly has to know. You never know when he's getting back, right? Yeah, Mr. Vince. 7 days was too long. I'm glad the guys got some rest, but a little bit too long. Chopper says Marchand speed can somewhat compete with Nick David. Oh no. I don't know. Green says the lawn's cut and now you're half cut. Yeah, I've been cutting here or there. It got hot. How'd you guys like that fishing video from yesterday? Holy crap. The day I had out there, I was exhausted when I got home. He says, must have been when Schmidt came, the Blue Chew thing started. I don't even remember how we got that started. Yeah, Marchand got some good rest, which is good. Hungry says, I want Marchand more than Ekblad. Imagine how good Lundell, Luciano would be. Yes, I absolutely agree. Give Marchand Ekblad's money. Sign Bennett, sign Marchand, and then tell Ekblad, well, there's $850,000 left, Ekblad. That's what you Oh, I'm kidding, Aaron. I know you watch every show. I'm kidding. It's all right. Don't have to block me again. Don't unblock me to block me. I'm kidding. Mr. Viz says, in the end, no matter what happens, I'm just happy that our Cats are no longer in the bottom of the barrel. Preach. So lucky. Scholar says, I think we needed the rest for this. We got one day extra than the Oilers. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, Jameson. Yeah, David, I went out and I turned to the left and I spent about 20 minutes putzing around over by the shore and nothing was going on. And then I walked over to the right to my other spot. And I don't know, the last 45 minutes, like I had to leave. I was trying to have 5 casts in a row where I didn't catch a fish, but I eventually gave up trying. I couldn't. It was just incredible. Catfish and perch. I caught 1 bass, but the perch were so big. I mean, they were the biggest perch I've ever seen in that part of the river. Monsters. Marvin, yeah, the Tkachuk Bennett Marchand line, and that would be something, but I think you need a young guy with Bennett and Tkachuk. I like them with Sam Miskevich. Because Marchand can lift a young player's ability, right? Like what he's doing for Lundell, Luciano is really making him a better player. With Bennett and Tkachuk, I don't really know how much better Marchand's going to make them. You follow what I'm saying? Kenneth, yeah, the fishing was a lot of fun. Molly says, Leaf fans defiled Bennett throughout the series and now clamoring for him, right? Sovlo says, we have too many injuries to deal with to overcome. You can make 2 lines with guys that are just out there playing with a useless limb. Nah, I disagree. We're fine. Reinhart looked a little bit dinged the other day, but he was skating fine. Tkachuk has made use of his ability. There's nobody else that's really hurt. I think Luciano was just a little bit of a head thing. Everybody else is pretty healthy. Mr. Vance, who do I got being the top cat during the finals? Well, let's put it this way. I think it's going to depend on the game. Like game 1 tonight, if Boquist comes in for Greer, he usually does pretty well on his first game back. So I think Boquist will do something pretty exceptional tonight. But overall, I still feel Bob and maybe even Ekblad. Maybe Ekblad has himself a hell of a series. Silva, no, I haven't. I've been paying attention, but I haven't been watching. David, I do eat them. I haven't eaten them in years, the catfish. I haven't kept them in years, but the ones I've eaten, they taste really good. They don't taste like catfish because what their main food supply is that white perch, and the perch are just so sweet that the catfish are just really flaky white meat. They're not very bloody at all. But I haven't kept one in years. Jason. Fake news, yeah. I like the Corey Perry part. Al says if they win again, Ekblad will give an FU to Josh just like he did to that golfer. No, Ekblad's going to be the one to bring the cup to the house. He's just a big pussycat. He's going to be the one to bring the cup to the house. 58, yeah, it was. It was really a good day. It was crazy. It was crazy. Hungry. I didn't put it on the fishing channel. I put it out as the members podcast. I haven't been putting it on the fishing channel because this was the first day we really caught some fish anyway. But I haven't put anything out on that channel since because last year I was going to do a bunch of stuff with Fluffy out there, and then you guys know the rest of that story. Communist says, pretty much all of us are willing to have Ekblad back with less money, but what about length? 4.5 times 5, about 3.5 times 8. If he'd take 3.5 times 8, I think that would be a bargain. I mean, he would get decent money on the open market, right? It's like there's taking less than what you're worth because you want to help the team, but then there's costing yourself some financial security in your older years. I mean, I can't imagine that he wouldn't get 7 to 8 million on the open market. If he actually went to free agency, you got to figure he would get 8, right? I mean, we give him a lot of grief, but he's still a top right-handed defenseman. Sovla says Oilers and 6 or Panthers and 7 are the only 2 outcomes I can see. All right. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Craig says catch and cook perch video. Yeah. Once the season is over, once hockey season's over, I'll go out there and do something like that. I just don't want to have to worry about working that night and streaming a game because it's hot. It gets tiring. Yeah, the perch are really great. David says, I like catfish, but it's got to be clean water. Yeah. And it generally speaking here is, you get mud, but in terms of pollution and everything like that, it's pretty good. Hey, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, brother. I was having a day. I didn't want to go home, but I was getting a headache. I was burnt. I wasn't prepared. I thought I'd go out there for a half hour, 40 minutes, talk some hockey, maybe catch a bass. I mean, the video was like 80 minutes long. The whole thing is me fishing. I got toasted. And I left because I was tired. The fish didn't stop hitting. I caught a big catfish, but like 2-3 casts before I left. Then I think I even caught another perch. I'm like, okay, I got to go home now. I'm tired. Hey, Bucks Rays. John says, Marchand definitely elevates Lindell Luostarinen to be more offensive-minded. They were good before, but Luostarinen was never scoring like this. Yeah, the third line is a dream, Loogie. Yep. Good call, Marvin, on Mikkola. Yeah. Oh, Bucks Rays. I don't want to do well. Okay. 5-3 Panthers. Yes, for a score prediction, 5-3 Panthers. Yeah. Molly says 19 Panthers have scored during the playoffs. We have depth. Man, that's crazy. Kenny says Jaws wants Boquist tonight. That's when he's the super. Then when he's the superstar, bench him for game 2 because we've seen the movie. Yeah, exactly. Get your big goal tonight, and then sit down. Okay, you have to sit for at least a game. Then you come back, and then you're great again. There's snook. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of snook. Eating snook. Snapper's good. So it says total domination against Laval in a sweep. And you know who the best players were? Holviari and Sordiff. Sordiff needs a place in this lineup next year. I wouldn't mind having a 4th line next year of Nosek. Bring back Nosek. I'm good with that. With Sordiff and Poliari? I don't know. We still, or Greer and Gadjevich. George Richards said we needed to sign the whole 4th line. But somebody here had told me that they were signed through next season. Can somebody look that up for Greer and Gadjevich? Because article today, Richard said we need to re-sign the whole 4th line. Right now, it doesn't look like Greer's playing, Drew. Okay. Coot says Richards uploaded the article just saying Boquist will play and place a Greer. Also said Greer is expected to miss game 2, which would swap. So we got to swap out Boquist before he turns into a pumpkin again. So Boquist tonight and Sam Miskevich on Friday, right? Yeah. Frosty says, I think Anaheim and the Rangers would go after Ekblad. Yeah, okay. He'd probably go back with Gudis, right? Ryan. Yes, we are, Marvin. Jason says it's tough because Eki has been good for us and come up clutch for us in the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, it's not that I wouldn't want him back. And in fact, the way he's been playing, I wouldn't have just minded extending him at his current salary for a few years. But we can't because we paid Jones. So Ekblad would have to take a cut. If you can get Bennett for 8 and Ekblad for 5, that leaves $6.5 million for the 4th line and a backup goaltender, and to bring up and for Sam Miskevich. I mean, it could work. The dream is somehow finding a way to keep Marchand too. And if Ekblad will take like 5x5, but we got to get Bennett to take 8. There he says Boquist might score 2 tonight if he's playing for Greer. But I trust NHL injury reports during the playoffs about as much as I trust politicians, right? No, very cool, Silva. Yeah, Florida owns the last 5. Did Tampa win and then lose, though, right? Or did Tampa lose, win? Or did they lost? They lost. They ran out of gas. That's right. They won 1, lost, I think, right? Hey, Trey. David says if Skinner gives up 5 goals in game 1, it's over. Oh, Julian Cobia is king. Oh, those are fun to catch. We used to catch the small Cobia off of the Holliver Pier in the summer. They chased the sardines and the goggle eyes. They would chase the bait along the beach in the summer, and you'd see this huge school coming. And it would just be, it'd either be bonita or small cobia. Not big ones, 5 pounds. But, man, you hook up on one on the pier, zzz, they just running you to death. Chris, thank you. Yeah, the pliers. I had some around here. I don't know what the hell I did with them. Yeah. I got lucky yesterday, though. They didn't get hooked. at all, sticking my hand. The two catfish, they weren't even hooked. They had just swallowed the damn thing and they were clenching down on it. But when I opened up their mouth, it wasn't hooked. It was more about getting my hand in there and getting the spoon out of his mouth without hooking him on the way out. Two of those suckers were not even hooked. And that's happened before with those catfish and those spoons. They suck them in so fast, and it doesn't really hook them in the lip. They just think they have a bait stuck in their gullet. Communist, she got hurt on next to the last game against Carolina. I think it's a rib. Cooch just won. Is that what you're trying to say, Bucks? Fake news says Greer and Gadger signed until next year. Nosek free agent. Thank you, fake news. All right, so that's a little bit different than what George was saying. Molly says best game in the playoffs is when the Panthers came back to beat the snot out of the Bolts with less than 4 minutes left in the game. That's pretty good. Game 3 against Toronto wasn't bad either. David said, yeah, I definitely need the needle on those pliers. Oh, yeah, I'll eventually hook myself for sure. For sure. Honey says, funny how all the talk of Bennett getting $10 million on the free agency cooled down, and now they're saying he's worth $7.5 million in the open market. Agents are playing games, man. Silva. Their entire lineup to Toronto. Skyler, I hope so too, man. I just wonder how cheap he's willing to stay for. You know, can we add some term? Will he take 5 years if we do $3 million? You know, that puts us in a position later on, but talk about keeping the window open. Ryan says the Bucks will beat Tua and the Dolphins on December 28th. Ryan, you got a lot of nerve thinking Tua's actually going to still be healthy by December 28th. What is wrong with you, man? Ain't you paying attention? That's a big prediction, Ryan, saying Tua's actually still going to be playing at the end of December. I don't know, man. Hi, Miss Jaws. She's just stopping in to say hi. Hi. Are you talking to me? Is there anybody else here that's handsome? Are you sure we're talking to me? I see. I knew it was David. I knew it. I see what's going on. Huh? I see what's going on here. David. Andre says the Pulviari series winner to say was interesting to say the least. Nice. And that kid can play if he gets it together. John Jones says Panthers can still keep all three if they all take team-friendly deals. Mackey for 2, Gadjo and Greer are signed. Bring Nosek, backup goalie, Kokkinen from the AHL. Schmidt can go. Does that still leave? What are you talking about? Kulikov, Balinskis, John? And then fill the hole in the trade deadline if we need to? John, yeah, no, the math will work a little bit. I'm scrolling down here to the bottom. Thank you, Bucks Rays. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, bud. He says, Panthers fans routed Tampa when we won back cups, or rooted for Tampa when we won back-to-back cups. I think the loss was the three-peat. I think Panthers are better. The Tampa told that Ryan, Panthers, mad dynasty. Oh, I love talk to text. Thank you, Bucks Rays. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. I noticed I noticed that yeah, I cook too, Molly. Don't let David fool you. I literally went to chef school. I see what David's doing. I ain't blind to this. I see what's going on. Huh? That was the first date with Donna. I cooked her dinner. Yeah. Andrew says Dave Portnoy bets Oilers $50K in 6 games, pay out $325. Damn. What did Trey say? Hold on. Trey says, what's more likely? Tua still playing in December, or I still have a girlfriend? Oh, definitely you still have a girlfriend. I would definitely. Trey, that's a keeper, man. You know that. Guitarco says, I don't care how much McDavid deserves a cup. It's a team sport. The cup isn't an individual award. Just ask Pavel Bure and Luongo. Amen. Coot says we should try to bring Ekblad first because he will be hardest to replace. In all likelihood, we won't be able to sign both Marchand and Bennett. We'll have to be one or the other, but we're in a good spot. Yeah. It just depends. The money's there. The money's there if you trade Rodriguez. I'm just saying. Not that I'm not saying anything bad about Rodriguez. I'm just saying if we could have Bennett, Ekblad, and Marchand, but we had to move Rodriguez to do it. You know, like maybe. It's going down to the bottom. Drake hasn't made a bet yet. Ted, yeah, I agree. David's answer is the same. He says, can I build a real O-line around Tua? Not with Greer. Kachukkin says, got to pick up the Lion King to get us Bob's extension. If Bob takes a team-friendly deal, we can pretty much be stocked in 26-27. Yeah. Ryan, yeah. I wasn't streaming the games then. That's actually the last Panthers playoff game that we didn't stream, Ryan. I was doing pregame streams. I was doing an hour before the games. And then it was the season after that we decided to stream each game. Just going back down to the bottom. Yeah, no, I certainly was fine with Tampa winning. Actually, once they beat us, you kind of want them to win because it's like, well, at least we lost to the champs, right? Trey says, Panthers in 6. Bob has a word I can't say. McDavid still wins Conn Smythe. Oh. Can you imagine if that happened again? Like this time he might just come out and throw the trophy across the ice. Kachukkin says, moving Rodriguez, I feel is inevitable. Boquist and Mack, you need more time to develop, but I feel like they have a higher ceiling. And don't leave out Sordev. Like we got guys in the AHL level that – so you'd hate to lose Bennett. You really would. But if you still ended up going Lundell, Tkachuk, Samoskevich, and Luosterainen, Marchand, who's on that left? Not Boquist. You'd have to pick somebody up, but you'd have money to do it. Guitarco, Lucas is good. He went to game 6 against Toronto. I think that's the one. Yeah, he went to game 6. Or did he go to game 4 against Carolina? I forget. I think it might have. No, it must have been game 4 against Carolina because his response was, "You can't win them all." I'd have to check. He went to the home game that we lost. He went to the home game we lost. I don't remember if it was 6 against Toronto or 4 against Carolina. Andrew says, supposedly Toronto's CN Tower will be lit up in orange and blue to support the Oilers. Wow. Praga says, I think one of the deciding factors in the series will be the Oilers trying to push time on ice up on their stars while the Cats roll 4 lines. The fatigue factor may just kick in, which is kind of what happened in the Game 7 last year, right? You know, with all the talk about how Florida's had 3 long runs. Remember, Panthers or Edmonton this is their 2nd long run in a row. So it's not like they're fresh pancakes either. Adonis says the third line is going to be the main factor that I think helps us win this series. They've shown up. And now Marchand has enough hunger for another cup in his legacy. Amen. Yeah, Tracy, don't forget my son, Jack Devine. I don't know where he's going to go, man. Exactly, David. Yeah, Don. Yeah, Jack Devine. Yep. Kachunkin says, great season, all things considered. The defense looks so bad early in the year. It's crazy where we are. They really settled down once you got Kulikov and Schmidt to be able to be together on that bottom pair and solidify that way. That's made a big difference. I don't know, George. That's a good question. Oh, no, here we go. Goose says, I'm pounding the table that Barkov is going to be the guy for us this series. He matches up better than anyone else against McDavid, and we can just get a little bit more offense, then we're golden. That's what we're talking about with the third line, right? Because if Barkov can equalize McDavid, my thought is that if they put Barkov's line up against McDavid's line with Perry, if that doesn't work, I think you might see Draisaitl move up with McDavid's line to really try to get top heavy. Which either way, what that leaves is who's taking care of Lundell, Luostarinen, and Marchand. That's the kicker. That's where I think we've got a massive advantage. Hey, Jamal. Hungy says, are we going to get some Kyle watches hockey movies for the first time vids in the offseason? That's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Yeah. So Soflo said, who I think is going to be the Snigglebosh, your money is on Lundell. I actually would agree with you there. I would actually agree with you there. Donna says Devine could probably end up being a very good bottom sixer for us, but he has a lot of potential. Also, like as Sword, if it's been turning out and he may be a future 3rd, 4th line center, Lundell would be 2C. Yeah, I mean, if we don't have Nosek signed, I suppose, well, we'll just see what they do with Bennett. So much depends on that because that makes everything change. Like if you lose Bennett, signing Marchand in some ways becomes more important, but somehow comes less because then you're not going to have the Lundell, Luostarinen, and Marchand line. Kachunkin says, if we see McJesus and Dry together, we're in a good spot. Right. Julian, you're talking about the phobia. You only have a chance to catch them for 2 months out of the year. The Holliver Pier, for you guys that don't know, you know where Holliver Inlet is. So about, I don't know, 1,000 yards north of the inlet, there was a pier there when I grew up. It was the longest pier on the East Coast. It had 2 T's, and by far and away the best fishing on the East Coast of Florida. It was an insane place to be. You'd have mackerel, bluefish, snook, tarpon, jacks, runners all winter long. And then in the summer, you could stand off, you'd catch barracudas, barjacks. Oh, you'd just flip a little jig along the pilings, and you'd be catching 4 and 5 pound barjacks and rum runners all summer long. Oh, they tasted so good. Coot says, need our second line to be better than last year, though. They did well against Rice-Side, but wasn't as fit as now. But he wasn't as fit, right? And we have Chucky in a reduced capacity. Playoff Bennett needs to earn his money there. Don't leave out. Grahage has definitely picked up the physicality as well. I think he's helped even out what Chucky's not bringing. Yeah, exactly, Craig. No Kraken bark off. George, yeah, the third line might make up for a lot of problems that we have, right? Who says the second pairing is better than last year. Jones better than Montour in terms of form going into the Cup and physical ability. And Mikula is really breaking out this postseason. Hopefully Mikula's shoulder is good to go. Donna said the hockey guy sent in a live stream the other night that Lundell is ready to be a 2C, and he would be excellent in that spot. Remember, he did handle taking Barkov's spot with maturity. Oh, no doubt. I mean, I don't disagree there. I don't disagree. If you do that, though, now you have to have a 3C where you have the advantage. Because if you lost Bennett and you moved Lundell up, you got money. Like, I'm not saying I want that to happen, but you've got money to go get, if there's one available, an exceptional third center, unless you're going to try to use Lusterine there. Same here, Ted. 7 more hours, Ryan. Yep. Pente says Kachuk needs to start skating lessons in the offseason. Guy is NHL slowest skater. Perry is faster. Yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest skater in the world. Right now, he's obviously a little bit dinged, but the point still stands. You're not correct. Kachuk says Chucky can skate because he's still recovering from an exploded testicle. Oh. All right, David. Yes, Praga, we have to be careful in the stretch passes. That's no doubt. That, more than anything, is going to drive me nuts. That and the passes, and just use the boards. I don't even want to have to say it. Just use the boards. Okay? If there's even a question, just put it on the boards. Please. We don't need to get beaten by this team because we're turning the puck over in the neutral zone in the middle of the ice. That's all I'm saying. Praga, I don't know if Sturm would really be – he hasn't really shown all that well. He hasn't really shown up all that well in the transition from the west to the east. But Chuck, yeah, the series is won or lost in the neutral zone. Decisions. Making the right decision with the puck. And just not trying to get in Edmonton's head and not worrying about that end of things. Just play our game smart. Braga says, Chucky doesn't have skating speed. Watch his form. There are lots of problems with his skating form. I'd say forget trying to mess with it. You'll never get him right. It's weird when he, the way he takes off from a standing still position, it's like he's chopping wood. It's like he's like lifting up his leg and chopping down. It looks like he's always hurt. It's really weird. Yeah, Connor Brown's playing. What about Doo-Doo Brown, Trey? We'll see who remembers that song. And yeah, the face-offs are key, especially in the defensive zone. Andrew says if the game is played in the trenches and on the boards, the Panthers will wipe the Oilers. If not, if it's a skating game, then the Panthers will be in trouble. That's a pretty good synopsis. Just keep it on the boards, right? If we got to win every game 3-2, then we got to win every game 3-2. I don't need my heart. I got another one. We'll just grow me a new heart. I'm fine. Kazuma says, I think I'm more nervous than last year's. We need to win tonight to get us some momentum. A win tonight would go a long way, for sure, obviously. Just splitting in Edmonton would be so huge. Exactly, Kachukin. Who says, I hope they did 3 hours a day of face-off drills in practice. Although at least we did, like the Lundell goal from Marchand, that set play was just beautiful because Marchand starts moving. The puck just gets right to him, perfectly placed off the draw from Lundell, and Lundell just goes right to the net. It was such a beautiful play. It only works if you perfectly win the faceoff, right? Trey says that's where you can use the Oilers' feelings of revenge against them. Playing angry can lead to playing stupid. Yeah. Kachuk says if we lose 3-2, all good. If we lose 6-5, very bad. Glenn says Edmonton knows we don't have a backup goalie. Bob better be aware. And that is interesting. That is one thing for sure that we don't want to see. Molly says Big Walt's son won't punk out because of the injury. The dude is a beast. Oh, he's definitely not punking out. That's for sure. I wonder who we're going to have on Perry in the front of the net. The dude is like a freaking sequoia out there. So I don't really think you want to have Chucky trying to guard him. You got to have Mikkola on him. Forsling, Mikkola. Kulikov can probably lean on him a little bit. Trey says Adam Henrique stomped on Bob's skate last year. The three of us, you guys aren't ready for a Vanchek 4 straight shutout series. Oh. Silva says, what if we headhunt Jim Hill or get some revenge for not burying the Oilers? Damn it. I think this was the series we were always going to get. Chunky thinks we need to win in Edmonton and split at home. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily disagree. I mean, if you win both in Edmonton, it's weird because normally you would say, well, if you get up 2-0, 3-0, the series is looking bad, except Edmonton last year, we know what they're capable of, right? Kazuma, I hope not. I'm making the streams subscriber only, so we should be pretty good. Braga says Mikkola is the match for Perry. Meek was impressive in terms of clearing out the net front. Yeah, hopefully he's healthy enough. Just got to have some posters of Bedard's mom to distract Perry. Andrew says our PK is under 7%, which is not good. So as long as you don't take stupid penalties, you're in it for sure. Kitty Cat power play is no joke. It's very streaky, our power play. The Panthers power play is very streaky. So anything can happen. Brand new series. Oh, geez, Trey. Ryan says, if Edmonton's winning 5-1 second period, does Bob stay in or get pulled or put in Vanacek? I guess it depends on how the 5 goes in, but that's not going to happen anyway. That's not going to happen anyway. Not this year. Jay says, I would have to drive 25 miles. Now you only have to drive 10. Uh-huh. Yep. All right, everybody. I'm going to roll. I got to do my normal eBay work. Thank you all for joining me. Appreciate all of the support and all of the super chats. And the next time you see me, I will have shaved this completely clean, only leaving the mustache with a handlebar mustache. I'm going to do that. Definitely not doing that. Ever. Not even on a bet. All right, everybody. Get your rest. Get your popcorn ready. Do your thing. Do all the things you need to do. The whole new series starts tonight. Let's do this. We'll see you tonight, brothers and sisters.